if I see crybabies. Yeah. I cry all the time. I cry when I watch like commercials. I don't see it as a bad thing though. I don't know why you attach baby to crybaby. Like, yes, I cry a lot, but hey guys. Oh wow, it's been like forever since I did an INFP Corner episode, but welcome back. Today, I wanted to do something that's kind of fun, which is responding to negative INFP stereotypes. So these are just my own personal responses to these negative stereotypes, and I'm sharing them because you might find it interesting. Oh, right, so where did I get these stereotypes from? They're from Personality Cafe forum, and as usual, I will put a link in the description so you can like follow along if you choose to. Oh my gosh, I'm like nervous. All right, let's start. Okay. One thing though is I'm pretty good at not crying if I don't want to. Like, for example, if a person is being a total bum and I'm like, yeah, this person is not worth wasting tears on, even if I feel hurt or in pain, I'm generally pretty good at not crying in that situation. Number 2, emos. It's not really the early 2000s anymore, so I don't even know what that means. Okay, 3. Suffers from post-traumatic stress syndrome. Like, do they mean PTSD? I guess so. I don't really like this one because I think PTSD is like a very serious thing that you get after, I don't know, abuse or war. And to say that like a certain personality type just automatically has that is very insensitive to the people who actually do have this problem. Okay, so I'm just gonna skip this one. Okay, non-logical. Oh, now we're getting interesting. Yeah, I guess the thinking cognitive functions are associated with logic, like TE and TI. As an NF, my mode of decision making is based primarily on intuition and feeling, although I do think that INFPs, like all people, can apply logic. Next we have romantic. Okay, this is like misconceptions galore. I think INFPs are romantic, but it's never the way that you expect. I think high SI people are likely to be romantic in the societal, traditional sense, like roses, etc. But then INFPs, they tend to have like a very, very personal meaning of romance that might not even look like romance to anyone else. It might look like super weird or, you know, extremely sexual or whatever. Or it could be like the traditional romantic stereotype. It really depends on what art we grew up with, right? Like what or past experiences and influences were. 6, accepting of others. Yeah, generally perceivers, like I can disagree, but I accept that you are that way and it's fine. 7, dramatic. INFPs can be pretty dramatic. I think that what is going on is that it seems real. Like sometimes you have these emotional ups and downs for a seemingly minute occurrence, so it seems really dramatic to other people. But then because we're such high feelers, even though the event might not be like a catastrophic event, we might extract catastrophic feelings from that and react accordingly. But I don't know. I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. Dramatic. Number 8, loners. It was really hard to make friends when I was a kid, and I spent a lot of time alone. Okay, 9 is kind of similar. It says socially deprived. Currently, I also spend a lot of time alone, but I don't really feel deprived. Like, if I need social interaction, I'll probably go out and get some social interaction. Ooh, it says, was bullied in school. True. I think NFPs can be an easy target. I mean, like, SFPs have higher SE, so I just imagine them being more, like, agile and maybe being like more physically fit. But like NFPs, oh my gosh, we're such easy targets. I was so bullied in like kindergarten and elementary school, like by boys no less. So I think they would just like pinch me and oh, it's horrible. I mean, yeah, so I think that might be a true stereotype. Hypersensitive. Yeah, I used to be. I mean, it is really easy for INFPs to take criticism personally. I think I'm getting better though. Just becoming like growing thicker skin. Self-obsessed. Yeah, I think that, okay, we're prone to this because the way we understand other people's feelings is not through absorbing them or reacting to them in the moment even. There's kind of a delay as we filter the other person's experience throughout our own experience and then come to some sort of like empathetic or sympathetic understanding. Sometimes I can be like super self-obsessed, but I realize that the key to living a happy life is to like get out of self-obsession. Emotionally unstable. This is true. I think there is like a general flavor of emotional mood in the general sense. Like I'm generally a happy person or like I'm generally a depressed person, and these can take place over months or years. But yeah, day to day, week to week, month to month, oh my gosh, so much emotional instability. I don't think this is really a bad thing though. I mean, it's not the end of the world, you know, if your emotions are kind of on a roller coaster. It's kind of fine. Yeah, it's fine. The high FI users, we have the greatest potential of mastering our own emotions. So I think that the instability doesn't really bother me because I'm like, okay, I am really sad today, I'm really happy tomorrow. This doesn't make me afraid. It's fine. Innocent. No. No, I think it's our demeanor. It's ENFPs as well. We have like this childlike demeanor, and I'm never gonna forget this. There was this guy I knew, and I think he kind of liked me. I was like, dude, you like innocent girls, because I know he likes innocent girls, and he was like, Calypso, like innocence is not just what you've done, it's who you are. I was like, oh, well, that's kind of interesting. So I think I tend to be trusting, just automatically trusting, and I guess free in my expressions, and sometimes a little gullible. So I think this is like the innocence, but not innocent in terms of lack of experience. Quiet. Yeah, I think young INFPs are super quiet. They may go into like bursts of dramatic mode, but generally they're quite quiet. I was always told to speak up as a child. I cannot tell you how many times teachers, parents, relatives, family, friends are like, speak up, I can't hear you. It's like, oh God, I mean, it's abrasion against my soul, okay, these comments. Nice. Right, yes. Non-confrontational. No, this is not true at all. This is like a misperception, because really like 95% of things are not worth confronting people over. It just doesn't really matter. But like the 5%, if you piss off the INFP's 5%, you will get the confrontation of a lifetime. Daydreamer. Oh, this is true. I mean, I don't know any INFPs who are not daydreamers and night dreamers. And then we get around to it, like trying to accomplish our dreams, in which case it's just being a productive human being. Is no longer daydreaming. Okay, weirdo. I think a lot of INFPs think of that as a positive attribute. I think we would definitely be weird rather than normal, and I think this is true. I think I'm totally weird. Perfectionistic and idealistic. Yeah, I think idealism is great. Idealism combined with perfectionism is not so great. You have this, I think all INFPs have this ideal state they want to be at, either like an ideal way of being or an ideal place to be, like a job to have, all these things. And we try with our like faulty little TEs, we try to approach this ideal. But what really slows down this whole process is that we're also, SI perfectionistic. This is not helpful at all. So I've kind of been devising ways to like stop being so perfectionistic. Maybe I'll talk about it in another video. Don't share their pain or share too much pain. It's kind of like, okay, which one is it? Share too much pain. Okay, so I do overshare a lot because I don't really have many secrets. I think my FI motto is like, if you don't want anyone to know that you've done this thing, maybe you shouldn't be doing it in the first place. So I kind of just share a lot. And then don't share their pain. I think, yeah, that's pretty valid. I don't think this is true, but a lot of the times I feel like I can burden someone with my deluge of emotions. So yeah, a lot of the times for people who are close to me, I might not want to complain or like totally share my pain because I don't want them to take on the burden. Can let go. Well, okay, I can let go, but it is really difficult. I want to look back at previous events and think about, how I could have acted differently and thereby like come upon a different outcome. But anyway, this is all getting better because I read this quote somewhere. I think it was like on Reddit. So I think someone said that if you could go back in life, like from the beginning, but keep all your memories, would you do it? And then someone said like, if I were to start life over again, I would still make mistakes. They would just be a different set of mistakes. No matter how much we learn, we still keep making mistakes. So even if you start your life over again, you'll just make a different set of mistakes. So it's becoming easier to let go for me. But I think generally INFP SI makes it really hard for them to let go. Deny the truth. No, I think we seek the truth. We want the truth, but sometimes it's hard to see it because, there are so many emotions going on and there's so many NE possibilities that it's hard to settle upon one truth. Like NE possibilities, as in there are so many different ways to explain this one thing, right? What is really why this thing happened? We don't know. Can't get a job, can't keep a job. Okay, yeah, this is getting more and more interesting. This, I think, is kind of true. Sorry, INFPs, I am one. It's hard to get a job in the traditional sense because, traditional employment is a kind of structure, and FI tends to rebel against TE structure, so kind of want to, get a job or, create a job, really. We want to create a job, or really we just want to be paid for doing the things that we love. This is never an easy or a straightforward process. So I think that we can be late bloomers when it comes to our careers and then can't keep a job. Oh my god, I hope none of my employers are watching this. So personally, it is true that I tend to stay at a job for a very short amount of time. I think this is the idealism thing. I'm always thinking, okay, unless I love the job, it's kind of like I'm thinking, okay, how can I get a better job? How can my career align better with this idealized self-image that I have? And I'm always thinking about this and not focusing so much on the work. But then if you do hire us, the perfectionism is sometimes good. The perfectionism plus creativity of INFPs, we can sometimes do some really great creative work, but perfectionism not good for efficiency, right? And then the low TE is not good for efficiency. We might be working for so many hours and making this one project super great, but really the company needs many projects to be churned out. I don't like this. So I think that's true, not because of lack of ability, but because of our attitudes. It's really important for INFPs, if they stay at a job and if they really want to excel at the job and not just do the bare minimum to get by, it's really important to align this job to FI values, and it is really hard to do that for a lot of corporate jobs. Depressed and suicidal. I guess I've been depressed before. I've gone through the suicidal teenager phase that some of us go through. I think this is kind of normal for INFPs because we're so big on this emotional spectrum. We're like, oh my gosh, cool, let me explore this emotional spectrum. And there's this high point, and then there's this really low point, and we're not really afraid of the low point, so we're delve into the low point. And yeah, sometimes that can manifest into suicidal thoughts. Not good though. If you're consistently having these thoughts, I of course advise getting professional help. ADD, attention deficit disorder. No, come on, man. I think personally, I'm really good at honing in on one project. If I like the project, I super hyper focus on it. Airheads and space cadets. I don't know what space cadets are. Is that another word for dreamer? I don't know. I think airheads has a connotation of having a totally vacuous brain, which is obviously not true of any MBTI type. And space cadets, I think what they mean is dreamers, which once again I said is true. We have these far-fetched, intuitive plans or ideas that have nothing to do with real life, and that's okay. That's why we write fiction, right? Some damage when they were younger caused them to become INFP. Okay, someone has actually asked of this channel, do you think MBTI is genetic or is it environmental? And I'm like, yeah, I don't really have enough data to like say this. Intuitively, like I have this feeling like it's probably genetic, but I have no data, so I can't really answer that. But then there's this interesting article I read where it says like how you become your Enneagram. And for Enneagram 4, it was like when a responsive child or like a really active child rubs up against a non-responsive parent, and that makes them, do stranger and stranger things, more and more dramatic things, and then that's how they become Enneagram 4. And for that, like that parental structure thing, that was true of me. My parents were generally non-responsive, and I did get into like more and more attention-seeking behavior. And of course, like Enneagram 4 is correlated with FI. I don't really know. Maybe. Don't like the sciences, math, biology. Would it be fair to say that I like the sciences, but I don't like doing the sciences? I have a tremendous respect for like math and sciences. I think like people who are good at math are so sexy. Actually, I'm good at math. I was really good at math and sciences, but I didn't really like them. No, I totally gravitated more towards language arts and history, but I think this really depends on the specific INFP. Biology is kind of funny because of like our low SE, we're so in our heads that we're a bit detached from our bodies, and I really hated biology. This is funny because my mom used to be a doctor, and she's also Asian, so the stereotype goes that she wanted me to be a doctor, and I had no interest. I like blood and gore, but I had like no interest in like studying the human body and poking around and none of that stuff. I think the stereotype is that INFPs are healers and they like to help people, so they might get into healthcare profession. I think this stereotype is really overplayed because the helping people, first of all, it could be a subconscious desire to help people, and helping people can manifest in so many different ways. Wow, okay, that video got like really long, and I think the sun came up, so I didn't realize that while I was recording, so sorry I'm like blotchy. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you like relate or agree or disagree with the stuff that I said, or with that list. Thanks so much for watching, and I will hope to see you next time.